Since we're giving away this GTR, so many of our followers have been asking, well, Ricky, if I end up winning the car, how much does it cost to actually own a GTR? So I'm going to be sharing not just on this specific spec, but from my experience. So again, especially if you're entering the GTR giveaway, make sure you drop a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe. So the first thing when it comes down to ownership is registration, right? I'm going to use myself as an example. I live in the state of Arizona. Different states are different. I know California is relatively more expensive because you have to pay some form of sales tax. In Arizona, for any private party sale, meaning that you don't buy it through a dealership, you buy it person to person, you don't have to pay any sales tax. It's actually a huge incentive. You only have to register it. And for this specific car, it's based off of the MSRP. This MSRP for this 2019 Nissan GTR Track Edition is $128,500. So do you have to pay all of that? Well, no, of course not. The registration for this specific car in the state of Arizona is right under $700 yearly. So when asking the question, how much is registration for this specific GTR, it's $700. And on average, the average GTR is right around $700 to maybe the high $700s if you get something like the Nismo or if it has a higher MSRP. I just wanted to make sure that was understood. The second thing when it comes down to ownership is insurance. Now, I have this specific car insured. Now, it's not super expensive, but it's not super cheap. And you guys can let me know down in the comment section what you think about it. I have a policy that insures this specific GTR, full coverage, up to $350,000. It's a form of like an umbrella insurance. I think it's actually up to $500,000. But I pay around $217 a month. My insurance is not anything special. I do have a multi-car policy. So obviously, if you win this car, you probably already have a car. So you could possibly qualify for that multi-car discount as well. But obviously, speak to an insurance agent if you have any further questions about that. But in my opinion, $217 for full coverage is not too bad. Now, let me share with you from my experience. Remember, if you guys have been following me for some time, I bought my first GTR when I was 21. And trust me when I tell you that I've done it dirty in the sense that I would buy my cars cash. So sometimes I wouldn't register and or wouldn't insure the car right away. Now, I wouldn't recommend this because if anything goes wrong, right? Again, there's an issue with driving dirty in that sense of not having any form of coverage. I wouldn't recommend it for anyone out there. All I know is that for $217 to be fully covered, it's definitely not a bad policy to have in place. Now, when it comes down to ownership for maintenance, this is a nightmare that people think of when it comes down to owning a supercar. I am gonna qualify or validate the GTR as a supercar. In my opinion, it is. You guys can let me know down in the comment section. But when it comes down to maintenance, and again, I had one at age 21, and when I'm telling you that I would try to finesse the system in how cheap I could be when owning it, I wouldn't recommend it for everyone, but I've gotten to a point where I would even not take it to Nissan directly, but I would take it to like an O'Reilly's or just your mom and pop oil shop where they would send you little coupons in the mail for a $60 oil change. Now, Nissan, it's not a very expensive brand. So even if you do go to Nissan directly, to my understanding, it's $358 for a full oil change. Now, that's on the higher end, right? It's still not that expensive, but obviously when you're used to paying $30 or $60, then it is a little bit more expensive, right? You can still do that $60, $80 oil change, or you can choose to change the oil yourself. But even if worst case scenario, you end up having to take it to Nissan, in my opinion, $358, again, being able to do it from the actual dealership itself, it's not super, super expensive. I mean, we're not talking about like a McLaren oil change where my 720S at one point, I think cost me $4.2K just to do a oil change on that vehicle. It's very, very inexpensive to own and maintain something like this GTR. When it comes down to the tires can be pretty expensive, especially now thanks to inflation. But It's nothing too crazy. Again, right now for these specific tires, they'd be around $250 to $300 a tire. Yes, it does get expensive, but let me share this with you, right? You guys might be saying, Ricky, I don't know if I could afford that, and trust me, I get it. And when I tell you, remember, I was 21 at the time. I was doing fine. I had very minimal expenses. I loved the GTR. I put myself in a very uncomfortable position. And this is why I'm sharing this with you. I can only speak from my experience. You don't have to, it's not a tip for you. It's just, again, from my experience. But I put myself in a very uncomfortable position of, I bought the GTR and I knew it was I knew it was a more expensive car than I've ever owned, right? To maintain and for insurance and all of that. Imagine, I was 21 years old. I paid a lot more back then than I did now. I put my car on Turo, right? I found every in which way I could to make money off of owning a GTR. I started filming videos on YouTube, and it was actually one of my first videos that went viral. I think it got nearly 1 million views, and it was getting my family's reaction in my GTR, right? This is when I was 21 and 22 years old. And that's what acted as a catalyst for the success of my YouTube channel. Now I sit at 1.1 million, obviously a completely different focus, but it's really cool to see that, again, my passion for cars, and because I put myself in a very uncomfortable position, it led me to be in a better position in life, right? And that's what I'm sharing with you guys. I mean, at the end of the day, if you really want to make it happen, you will figure it out. Even if you put yourself in a very uncomfortable position, I often believe that that is one of the best positions to put yourself in when it comes down to in a position to grow. And again, when I was 21 and 22 years old, I put my GTR on Turo. I would rent it for about $300 or $350 a day. My insurance for the GTR back then was around $650. So my focus was, I just could rent it out twice a month and I have my insurance covered. I owned the car outright, so if you end up winning our giveaway, you'd own this car outright. But even nowadays, I wish now I knew what I knew now, right? You can do like a refi out of your car, and or if you have a business, you as your business can actually buy it from yourself as an individual. Obviously, speak to your CPA, but you'd be able to take out a loan on the car that you just won. Now you have all the money, right? You can be making the payments to it, but imagine that. Imagine being able to win this giveaway. You win the GTR, and you're like, I just don't know. Maybe I'll just accept that I can't afford this car, and you're just going to take the $50,000. And again, this is just my opinion, right? Because the giveaway is either you win this GTR or $50,000 cash. And I hear a lot of people talking about, I'm just going to take the money, right? First off, this car is worth more than $50,000 right off the bat. Second, you could rent out this car on Turo. But Ricky, what about the maintenance? At the end of the day, it comes down to how bad you want it, right? You can not only make more money by selling this car, you can enjoy it for a couple of months, and then at the end of the year, you can end up selling it and still cash out. There are just so many ways around it in which you can put yourself in an uncomfortable position, but you're set up so perfectly to create this new side hustle, possibly, right? You can start filming videos on YouTube, and one thing leading to another, maybe it's going to be you in a couple of years giving away a GTR. It's crazy how the world works. All I have to say is that for whoever wins our giveaway, I hope that you consider the idea of actually keeping the GTR. At least for me, GTR has always been a dream car, and being able to make it work, right? Being able to rent it out on Turo, filming videos on YouTube, connecting with other influencers, has put me in the position of where it is that I am now. And again, it's very simple. This is a 2019 Nissan GTR Track Edition. MSRP is $128,000. It has 26,791 miles right now, right? This giveaway ends in, I think, less than 60 days as of right now, and someone's going to win, right? You can choose the cash, but at the end of it, someone's going to win, and you have the option of either choosing this GTR or $50,000 cash, and the choice is yours. For those that don't know, again, there's two ways to enter. You can either shop on shoptechbutts.com. It's going to be the second link in the description down below. For every $1 that you spend, it equals 5 entries. You can buy t-shirts, you can buy apparel, mouse pads, wall art. Obviously, the more that you spend, the more points that you earn towards this giveaway. The second way that you can enter is by signing up for Learn Plan Profit 2.0. A lot of you guys know me from the trading side of things, and I trade live every single morning with our Learn Plan Profit group. So if you've ever wanted to learn how to trade, and you've ever wanted to watch me trade live, and you've already been interested, right? If you've already been interested in learning how to trade and to watch me trade live, then for every new member that signs up for Learn Plan Profit 2.0, it equals 5,000 entries. 5,000. So just by signing up, it's 5,000 entries. Friendly reminder, again, do not sign up for LPP if you have no intention of actually learning how to trade. I trade live with you every single morning. You get to see my entries, you get to see my exits, you get to hear my thought process. But at the end of it, I want to make sure that you are of value to our team, or I can be of value to you, right? So I really hope that if you are interested, if you've ever wanted to get invested in the stock market and or you've ever wanted to trade in the market, then again, right now, 5,000 entries for every new member that signs up. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access, and that's that first link in the description down below. And right now we are running our biggest sale, and it's $150 off. So again, 2 ways to enter. You don't have to enter if you don't want to. If you don't like the GTR or you wish that it was a different kind of giveaway, I really don't care what you think, right? At the end of it, we're giving away this car in less than 60 days. You either enter to win, and someone will win, and they're either going to walk away with this GTR or $50,000 cash. And that's the part that's crazy to me. That someone, they might buy a t-shirt, they might sign up for LPP, they're going to walk away with either $50,000 cash in their pocket or in this 2019 Nissan GTR in their driveway. But remember, you can't win if you don't enter. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to message me via Instagram, and that's that third link in the description down below. I do appreciate you guys' time. Again, I wanted to kind of share a creative way of not just how much does it cost to own a GTR, but on how you can actually really make it happen. I feel like people right off the bat are just like, oh no, it's too expensive for me, and they just give up, right? Like, nothing in life worth having should ever come easy. And even if you do win this giveaway, I really hope you don't take the easy way out. And I mean, I want you to, I think it would be an amazing success story for yourself, that you can make something so great out of such an amazing opportunity. By winning this GTR, just imagine of what it can lead to, right? So very excited to follow up. Again, hope that we're in your thumbs up. And feel free to share your thoughts down in the comment section about what you think about the different ideas that I shared on how you can be able to afford the GTR if you end up winning the giveaway. So appreciate your time. Again, all the links are down in the description, and we'll see you guys on the next one.